Good evening, guys. I hope we're all sparkly. Today, we're going to talk about regaining a semblance of control in a crazy world. We want to be normal. We don't want to be average. We want to be normal. And we are far from normal if you take the average man. He is a bit of a wimp. So, let's be men. How do you do that? Oh, I don't know. But all I'm going to do is offer you some advice in how to normalize your testosterone and put some practices in place to take back a semblance of control through an understanding of physiology. Because as I've said numerous times before, concentrate on how your body functions. That will improve your psychology, and that will allow you to have some positive emotions, but still see the glass as half full. You can still see the glass as half empty. It's all perspective. So you need to understand how your body functions. You are not invincible. Look at that spider. You are unfortunately broken, which is why you're sat listening to a guy in a Land Rover talk about testosterone. We need to go back to this seesaw. Your sympathetic drive on one side and your catabolic hormones, cortisol, they are firing all the time. They are there to keep you safe. And we want to be safe. We want to know if we need to fight or flight. And animals will choose to flight unless they need to fight. And that's not often, because that confers no survival benefit. So guess why they need to fight? Yeah, you know, bit of nookie for procreation, territory for food, all that. Listen, let me get rid of that spider. It's driving me mad. Hello, boo. Right. So that's firing all the time. So on the other side of the seesaw, you've got your testosterone. And if you're sat watching this, you've got low testosterone. Now, it's likely you've done something to cause that low testosterone. And that can simply be not living according to our physiology. So we are hunter-gatherers at our core. We should be waking up, being physically active to get food, to take back to the tribe, to hopefully have a bit of nookie, and then go to sleep. Rinse and repeat. Your body doesn't care about the working week, the weekend, whether you're upset. It wants you to do the same things every day. We need to live by principles, not rules, because we can't hunt and gather, but principles over rules. So, very briefly again, first part of the day, sympathetic, fight, flight, but taking a semblance of control using your testosterone and your noggin and your parasympathetic nervous system. So let's explore that a little bit more with another story. A tiger stalking its prey. It's fixed. It is concentrating. It's mindful, and we need to be mindful. So what happens? Well, it's not actually very successful. It's not often successful. But does it place extra emphasis on subsequent hunts? Because eventually it's not going to be able to hunt anymore, and it's actually going to starve. Well, no, it doesn't. It does the same thing time in, time out, and it will be successful because it has to be successful. So it's using breathing. Big fans of breathing. Notice when you're stressed. No. If you take back a semblance of control through breath, it allows your mind to work for you and not against you. So remember, inspiration sympathetic, expiration parasympathetic. There's a reason why snipers, before they take their shot, they breathe out, because they get that control. That's also not only calming the body, but also calming the mind, because you want to be considered when you take that shot, when you go for the kill. So again, the first part of the day, predominantly sympathetic, but understanding this concept of balance, yin yang, you need to have parasympathetic and your noggin working for you to be considered. And we want to be considered, don't we? We want to be cool, calm, and considered. We want an appropriate level of aggression when we need aggression, but we don't want to overreact. And what happens when you've got low testosterone? You tend to overreact because you don't have testosterone. There is a chronicity to testosterone, a reactivity with the brain, and an acuteness with the autonomic nervous system. So hopefully you can see where I'm going with this. Testosterone is the base, which allows you to take control through breath, the autonomic nervous system, not eating, because that's comfort eating and that's going to make you a chunky monkey. And we don't like chunky monkeys, do we? Because we want to be the best version of ourselves, not sat there going, well, might as well. What's there to lose? So we need to have a level of objectivity in our subjective experience. And rather than reaching for the cookie, say, if I eat that cookie, that short-term gratification will disappointingly lead to long-term loss, because I'll get an insulin dump and I'll be lethargic. And actually, that's going to make me a bit miserable, because you're going to become chunky. That estrogen is going to feed back to the brain and tell the brain that you've got low testosterone, tricking your brain. So you'll send less luteinizing hormone down to the testicles. You'll produce less testosterone, and you'll feel even more tired, less motivated. And we don't want that, do we? So there's a reason why we have a spike of testosterone in the morning. You've been repairing from the day to prepare for the next day. So that high testosterone causes dopamine to come up. And we love dopamine, don't we? The reward chemical. But life is about movement. So what happens? Well, we have to move, and we should move, because we can't stay still. When you move, your activity levels lowers testosterone and lowers dopamine, but we're after dopamine. So we're seeking a reward through activity, and paradoxically leaving this state of feeling okay. But as we said before, testosterone is not a feel-good hormone, because if you woke up with high testosterone, you wouldn't do anything, would you? So it's motivating, and we want to get that sense of motivation and drive back, because with low testosterone, you've lost that. So your activity leads to a reward, which is food. And then you transition into rest and calmness before you transition into sleep. And as we know, there are 4 stages of sleep. We need to go through these stages to wake up refreshed, because if you don't wake up refreshed and you wake up tired, you are going to fire more on the sympathetic side and cortisol side, and you're going to start drinking caffeine to wake up. And that's ultimately going to cause harm. It's going to wear away your neurotransmitters, your acetylcholine. So we don't want that, do we? We want to live more according to our physiology, more according to nature. So the further we travel away from nature, the worse our physical and psychological well-being, because we are physical beings in a world of psychological stress. We are living in concrete jungles, not jungles. There is a perversity to this modern world. We are subjected to too much exogenous stress, and we subject ourselves to stress through the pressures we place on ourselves to do whatever we want to do, not realizing that we need to do what? Yeah, you guessed it. Earn your reward.